ụlọ nsọ gị Chukwu ka anyị na-abata, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Anya bịawa ịsọpụrụ gị ugbu a, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Chukwu nna n'ụlọ gị ka anyị na-akpọ gị, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Otito na-adịrị gị mgbe niile, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ụmụ eluigwe yikọta n'otu, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ka anyị jikọọ ofe ya ofufe Gọdian, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Gọdianism bụ ịhụnanya n'udo, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Butere anyị ụzọ kpetara anyị azụ, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ise ya gazie.
Ndewonu. Onofia onozo todere ama. Wherever you may be today, may nothing but goodness follow you. How wonderful it is to stand amongst the living, to be able to talk with you when so many people didn't see this day. Welcome, welcome to Chiism Live. I'm Dibia Dr. Wanyo Hosimere, and I'm your host. I'm so excited to welcome my co-host, Dibia Chiedozie Okoro.
No, that guy's here. Every time I hear that song, I go back to when we were kids in Enugu, going to church, the Guardian service on Sundays.
Yeah.
It just brings out a lot of memory. Makes me miss our high and love even more. So I just want to throw that out there. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I want to thank Nosferatu. He says, "You look stunning." Thank you. It's always
what about me? What
to be seen. Well, somebody says, "I greet you, Uncle Yudi." How's that?
Well, thank you. At least somebody acknowledges that I'm still breathing.
And then Okuna said, "Doctor, you're looking hot."
I was about to say, hey, what's going on
You
here?
did not know you.
Hello, I'm here. Oh man.
Oh God.
But the glasses is banging though. Let me throw that out there too. I love your glasses, man.
Thank
Those is
you,
cool.
thank you, thank you. I am so grateful to have life. Hey, you know, I have a public notice today. I want to share this right quick for those of
Yeah.
you who are not aware, you included.
Mhm.
The process of life is pleased to announce to you today that you must begin the process of moving forward.
Yep.
See, there was a funeral yesterday because yesterday died. Yesterday died last night.
I like that. I like that. That's very
Well,
spiritual. I like
this
that.
new need for you, you don't have to hold on to yesterday anymore. You know, it's
Uh-huh.
time to put the coffin in the move forward. You know, this is an event that was divinely ordered by Chineke, buried yesterday,
Yeah.
so that you no longer held to what was. You see, all your dreams and goals and commitments, arrangements and agreements are all negotiable now. Huh?
Yeah.
If you didn't get it right, if you didn't negotiate well yesterday, you've got another
It's
chance
gone.
to negotiate. Yeah.
It's not coming back. But
You
you
know?
learned something from
Yeah.
it.
That's right. See, this is not to imply, I'm not saying that you're not accountable to, to or for what happened yesterday, the choices that you made yesterday. I'm not saying that you don't have that you're not accountable for it. But what has happened, however, is that it's like when you flip in a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
You read page 1, right? You've seen page 1. Now, what do you do next? You don't get stuck on page 1, right?
No, you flip.
You flip
Next
to the next
page.
page.
Yeah.
That's right. So in effect, what I'm saying is that all parties who intend to evolve must maintain an open mind and heart to know that the new day has begun. Opportunities. Stop digging in. Don't dig in the past. Don't stay in the rock. It's time to move forward. Some of us, we grit our teeth. We clench our fist. We're clawing and grabbing because we just want to hold on. But ultimately,
Which is
what happens?
what we do most of the time anyway. Most people
This is
do
what
that.
we do. Yeah. So when you hold on, ultimately you end up where yesterday was. You see what I'm saying? So you got to move on. So that's what we're doing today. I'm telling everybody, come on, let's move forward. It's an opportunity to get it right. I know I'm moving forward. I'm looking forward to today and tomorrow. Whatever I didn't get done. Now, I used to beat up on myself. I don't know about you, Yudi. I used to beat up on myself. God, if I had just done this, if I had just done it, I could have done this. But what happens? You stress yourself out. Your blood pressure goes, your blood pressure goes high because you didn't get it right. So anyway, so I just wanted to give you that public notice that yesterday has been buried. The coffin is already rotting in the ground. It's time to move forward. So I hope you agree with me.
Personally, I'm always, like I always tell you, look forward to the possibilities.
Yes.
Yesterday meant something. You learned something from it, whether you were victorious or not. But the experience that you had yesterday must have taught you something that you could use today so that your tomorrow becomes a little bit more manageable and a little bit more successful than yesterday was. Yesterday is not a.
That's why Chineke gives you. That's why Chineke gives you another day.
Another day, memory, so you can remember what happened, and then don't make the same mistake. So whether you feel terrible about what happened yesterday or not, you learn something that you could use to build a better future for yourself.
On.
You say to that.
Move on. We just kind of get stuck in yesterday. Anyway, we have a wonderful show today, but I think we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty because our guest, Chiedozie Okoro, is having difficulty joining us. I'm trying to add him to the stream, and he is not. Let me see again. Chiedozie, how are you? I'm not even hearing. Chiedozie, are you there? You know, with the technology of Nigeria, we really got to get better, you know? This is, he's
Yeah.
calling from Lagos, and it is an exciting integrated metaphysics. He is a lecturer at the University of Lagos, and he was supposed to talk to us about integrative metaphysics, African spirituality, according to the Alpha principles. And unfortunately, he's not here. But in the meantime, I will ask you some of the questions I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
You know, what is African spirituality? What is African spirituality? And you know what? It is imperative for people to understand. Okay, I'm going to take him out. Gosh, I hope he joins us because he's really a powerful man. He's got so much information that we can really learn from.
We'll still have a chance of bringing him in at some point. Maybe it's a possibility. Depends on how his technical issues are resolved. So.
Yes. You know, one of the things that is important to note when we talk about African spirituality, because I think people complicate African spirituality. They equate it with a whole lot of, see, either they read about or they hear about, or you know, they read on the internet and all that sort of thing. And then I think that some people actually make it worse. For those who don't understand African spirituality, some people make it worse by coming up with all these crazy ideas, you know, about what we Africans do, you know, killing this and killing that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it can be so annoying. But African spirituality is quite simple, really. You know, it's quite simple. We just don't practice it. We don't realize that all it is monachiso. It's simple. I am one with God. Right where I am, God is. That means I have the power to overcome my challenges, just like we started earlier. What did we say? Yesterday died, right? So the chi in you is prepared to move forward. But you see what we do. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for you to come out. I got to fight yesterday's demons. You see, but African spirituality, quite frankly, to me, it is so fulfilling because it's between me and the Creator. There's no arguing. There's no fuss. I'm not being penalized. It's been laid out what the processes are. It's the rules and regulations, you know, things that make the world go round. It's already at your feet. You already understand. You know, you say it all the time. Thou shalt not kill. That's nothing new.
Everybody got it. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Theist, Guardian, Zoroastrian, Manichaeist, Taoist, Hindu, you know, it doesn't matter. It's a moral, spiritual tenet that is global, transcends all cultures. Thou shalt not lie is not a Christian thing. You don't need to go to the Bible to understand that in my village in Okoro, telling a lie is taboo. In Ghana, it's the same thing. Go to Kenya. Thou shalt not lie holds the same strength as a commandment of human morality as it does in South Africa, in Japan, or in Europe, South America. So nobody holds exclusive truth when it comes to the moral tenets that guide our behavior so that we don't behave like uncivilized human beings and attack one another, take what doesn't belong to you, kill each other just so you could gain it all. It doesn't work like that.
And you don't gain it all. You don't gain it all.
You never gain it all because you end up dead anyway. You're gone. Think about the history of humanity. Who knows who the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, the 1,000th human being, the millionth human being, you don't even know who they are. If you go far back in history, the only people that you're going to hear about are people that made a difference in their community. Famous or infamous, it doesn't really matter. If you leave a mark, you are remembered through eternity For as long as human history evolves, you will always be remembered because of the mark that you left on humanity. That's what living forever means. That's what it means. When somebody's living forever means that for as long as humanity exists, your name will always vibrate. There's no way we're forgetting Julius Caesar. It's not going to happen. We're not forgetting Muhammad. Adolf Hitler is infamous, but I bet you every dime that I got that a million years from now, for as long as humanity lives, you will remember who Adolf Hitler is. So we could make all the arguments. Yeah, wars. You could make all the arguments in religious, tenets or beliefs that when you die, you go to heaven and then you live forever. How do you know? No, you don't know. This is just something that you come up with to help control human behavior. You know, the penalty of sin is just not on this physical earth, but when you die, that sin follows you. So the idea behind that is to control behavior while you're alive now, so that you could at least think twice before you do something that will harm your neighbor. You understand? So in Buddhism, we talk about you come back 7 times till you become an ancestor. Then you're gone. So when you're gone, you're remembered in memory, in memoriam. In African spirituality, you live forever as an ancestor in memorial, as a general body. You live forever. We talk about the ancestors. For as long as we understand and maintain our culture and our spirituality, our spiritual culture, we always talk about the ancestors.
And that's why to practice it, it's not that difficult to practice African spirituality. What is the routine, right? First of all, you get up in the morning and you're grateful that you have breath. That's where you start. You start from the top and give thanks to Chineke because you can still think. Your mind is still intact. You can see. The nose is still breathing. You can talk. Your chest is still pumping. You can walk. That is where you start. That's where you connect with the Creator to say, hey, thank you for this temple that's still functioning. What do you want me to do now? Now, before you get started doing anything, you pour your libations. Pour libations, as you express your gratitude, pour libations and call upon the ancestors, and also thank the ancestors for you being here. Yeah. And then before you get your day started, during that time, as you're pouring your libations, that's when you ask the Creator, okay, what do you want me to do today? Meditation, that's part of African spirituality. Pouring libations, giving thanks first and foremost for what you have, pouring libations, and then asking, where do I go now? What do you want me to do? Sometimes we get up and we're ready to go, right? We're ready to go, but we haven't mapped out what our day is going to be. Part of your spiritual expression as an African spiritualist, okay, is to be able to connect with your ancestors, connect with the Most High, and then plan your day. Have an idea what you're going to do with your day. You don't move it. Pour that libation and say, okay, I'm getting ready to do this, this, and this. Chineke and Mario Biko, Yenemeka, no me fu, no mazo, no melu, no nakoko. Ibem je tukwa info blank patra katok oguzu. Hey, I'm a super poro.
All the two PhDs don't change anything.
I tell you about it. I'm still not a poro.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, I know 2 PhDs don't. I know.
Don't change nothing. You can put one phone call. One for you.
That's it. Okay. You see, so there's no mystery in a cheese. There's no mystery about you know what I'm saying? About how you relate to, so when they say what is a cheese? What does that mean? Look, a cheese is practically one of the most powerful human beings you want to meet. A cheese. Why do I say that? Not bragging. I'm just saying, I know I'm connected right where I am. Chineke you understand? Wherever I go, I know who's going. Okay, he's still trying to come in, and of course we're chatting. Hopefully he'll be able.
Yeah, he'll break in. He'll break in when he needs to break in. Doc, there's something I just wanted to kind of point out, because a lot of times.
Hold on a second. I don't know why this is coming up. It's
giving you.
This is him. That's us, but I'm not sure why that's on his screen.
Is he on the computer?
Okay, he's still trying to get it together. He's really trying to get in. So I'll give him some time. You were saying something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just, because a lot of times when we talk about religion, we spend a lot of time talking about the processes, right? We talk about those processes that serve one purpose and one purpose only: psychological focusing, right? As we revere and worship the Creator. One thing that is prevalent in African spirituality is in spiritual philosophy or religious philosophy is what is called monotheism, the belief in one God. African spirituality is monotheism first, the belief in one God. Now, all the other the processes and the deities that we talk about are part of this makeup, spiritual makeup of the Creator, right? From Anyanwu all the way to the ancestors, in between you have Ekuroche, Imomiri, Amadioha, Kamalo, Ikenga, all that stuff, all these deities that mean something spiritually that helps to control our behavior, how we interact with one another, and how we interact with nature. I just wanted to put it out there. One of the first characteristic of African spirituality is monotheism. So just because somebody misunderstands deities doesn't mean that we worship different gods. We only worship one God. It's sort of like in Christianity. You also have deities in Christianity. People don't understand that. There are three major deities in Christianity: the Father, the Son, S-O-N, and the Holy Ghost. And each one of them has spiritual power in the makeup of a Christian. You cannot have one without the other. God just does not exist on its own. For God to exist in the Christian parlance, the Holy Spirit must be involved. The Son of God must be involved for you to have the whole picture of the power of the Creator. And in so many different religions, you go to Hinduism, you got all these different deities. That's what they are. In the end, there's always one, how do I say, paramount Creator. In paganism, you have Zeus. In Norse culture, you have Odin. There are different godheads, the same God, but different names in all cultures and religions. So the first characteristics of African spirituality is, from me to Chineke, there is no distance. The God you seek is in you, not somewhere up in the sky in heaven. Monachiso, I walk with Chineke. God walks with me. The God that I seek is in me. Monotheism, one God. The funny thing is that if you ask people from different religions about creation, they always come back to the same thing. God created the world. So long as in their religion they believe in, one supreme being, they're monotheistic. The characteristics of monotheistic religions all over the world is they believe that there's one God of many names: Katonda, Ubangiji, Tamuna, Nkulunkulu, Uvuzulele, Yahweh, Allah, Chineke, Chukwu, whatever you call Chineke in different languages. If you believe there's one Creator, then you're speaking about the same God. I mean, you don't expect me as an Igbo man to reference God in Japanese language. I'm not Japanese. And vice versa. You rumple social harmony when you come from Europe or wherever it is that you come from, and then tell somebody from another culture that they have to see the world the way you do, and they have to call upon Chineke in your language. Let me create a scenario for you. If you ask somebody in Greenland, the Eskimo, evidence of God around them, they will tell you, or they will mention the snow. They will mention the polar bear. They will mention the walrus. They will mention all the life-sustaining forces in Greenland, in the North Pole. Now, if you go to the Amazon jungle and ask an Aztec the same question, what is the evidence of Chineke around you? They're going to talk about the jaguar, the panther, the crocodilia, the piranhas, the anacondas. They're going to talk about the jungle, the river, all the life-sustaining forces that keep them alive and nourish them both physically and spiritually is their evidence of a creator. And they believe that they are blessed by this God. What happens is that the Eskimo goes to South America in the Amazon jungle and tells the guy or the woman in the Amazon jungle to start seeing some snow, to start relating snow as his or her evidence of God around them. How do you think that Eskimo, the guy in the Amazon jungle is going to turn out mentally? Talking about somebody else's reality as opposed to his in South America. That's what's going on in the world. So dominant religions tend to go in and, how do I say it, re-socialize those people that they want to conquer, both physically and mentally. And what you're left is a shell of a human being, confused, violent, stupid, looking down upon yourself and then justifying your worth by somebody else's standards. The Aztec warrior is not justifying his worth by the same standards of the Eskimo when there's no snow in South America. This is Africa. And this is a problem with a lot of indigenous countries that were colonized. We were not allowed to evolve. Cross-cultural pollination was not part of our evolution, which most people do. You take things that don't really belong to you, but they have value in helping to build your nation. So you borrow some of those things, and things that are not relevant, you jettison them, but you don't throw the baby out with the bath water. This is a problem that we have in Africa. This is a problem that we have in Black communities, African communities all over the world. Self-hatred, no self-love, no cultural consistency. Anything about us is evil. We're afraid of the dark. We need the light. We're afraid of the dark. We need the light. But you tend to forget that without darkness, there is no light. If it was light all the time, humanity and life on earth will no longer exist, vice versa. Now I'm giving you Nkomi, deep thinking. I'm taking you beyond the microscope. I'm talking about things that you normally don't talk about because your mind has been conditioned not to look beyond what you see. You're socialized into groupthink.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody else does. So let me do it. Whether it's lacking truth, whether it's lacking morality, it's not important. You just want to follow the group just so you don't rumple anybody's feathers. So you live a fake, fraudulent existence because you don't want to be you. You don't want to exercise the same courage that other cultures exercise to be themselves. The Chinese person ain't changing for nobody. Neither is the Japanese or the Hindu. None of these people are changing for anybody. But we, as Black folks, we want to change our name. Now your name is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Your parents gave you the name Ngozi, which means blessing. But as opposed to just keeping the name traditionally relevant, you decide to change it to the English or to the English meaning of the name. Because now your name is blessing. Even though if you maintain your culturally relevant name, it means the same thing. You're wearing suits all over the place. Go to Saudi Arabia. How many people do you see over there wearing suits? But they still live, exist, run an economy, and control whatever part of the world economy that they do. Go to Dubai. Most of the people you see in Dubai that are citizens there are wearing their Muslim garb, and they don't apologize for it. As a black man, as a black woman, all we do is apologize for being who we are. We're so wroth with Stockholm syndrome that it is so pitiful. We can't even look beyond. Why is the African community globally, why do they have difficulty keeping up with everybody else? Why are we not able to maintain industries, good, great educational systems? Why can't we promote our culture?
And that's just the point. That's just the point. And when you try, when you try to let people know that, they get offended.
Yeah.
Don't be offended when somebody is trying to tell you that you're okay, because many people have told you that you're not okay. If you feel that you must ascribe to a foreign spiritual God, and let's be clear. Let's be clear. There is nothing wrong with a European seeing God as a white man.
Yeah, absolutely not.
With that, because that's who they are. That's how they see that the God that they worship must look like them. When you say that the Bible said that I was created in the image of God, well, what image is that? Yeah. If I'm created in the image of God, then that God must look like me. If the image of God that I'm seeing doesn't look like me, then that is not my God. You see what I'm saying? Either God has no physical definition, description, so then it applies to everyone, or then you use common sense and make the image of the Creator look like you. See, what people don't understand is religion is not that complicated.
No.
It's not. And that makes it complicated because it serves an economic purpose. The real reason why we need, if we must follow spirituality, is because human beings have moments that they are not secure, moments that they have doubt. And at that moment, you need something as your source of inspiration. And that source of inspiration is different depending, as you always say, Traja, depending on where you are. Depending on where you are. If you're Chinese, it is different from me as an African woman. If you're European, your reality is different from mine. It doesn't mean that your way is wrong. It just means that my understanding and concept of what the Creator is not correct. If I cannot pick up that image that supposedly reflects me, I look in the mirror and I see something totally different. So somebody's lying to me somewhere. Either I'm made in God's image or I'm not. If I'm not, so say. It's not a difficult language to understand. English is not that hard, really, if you can speak it. If it says something looks like your image, then that something must look like you. So it's not a bad thing that somebody's telling you, take another look in the mirror and see what that God looks like. And if your holy book says that God looks like me, I'm created in the image of God, then it's got to look like me. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't matter what you call it, because it all has something to do with your I'm onye Igbo. Okay, I'm an Igbo person. I'm in America. Yes, I live in America, but I'm still Igbo. It's because Igbo was born in me.
You can take the Igbo out. You can take the Igbo out of Igbo land, but you can't take the Igbo out of the person.
You can't. I don't stop being Igbo because I live in America. That same Chineke that I came when I came out of my mother's womb, that chi that came out with me is still there. It didn't change. It didn't transform. As I crossed the ocean, then all of a sudden it became white. Or it became Chinese. It's still that same, So I think that what we're trying to say is not for anyone not to ascribe to a religious philosophy, because we're talking about philosophy, but we want you to ascribe to reality, though. In addition to whatever you believe in, just know that there's a difference between theology that you're taught and reality. So you need to pick which one governs your life. Theology and the reality is that you are a reflection of Chineke. So you should not feel ashamed to practice what looks like you, tradition that's yours. You should be very proud, because if you don't, you give someone as an opportunity to take. Remember, Otraja, we say it all the time. We say it all the time. Life is a Serengeti.
Yep.
Survival of the fittest. Don't complain about somebody. It's really, don't complain about somebody that's trying to eat your limb. They got to eat. Tell that limb for them to snatch. They're going to snatch it. It is called life. Yeah. The elephant, the lion in the Serengeti, right?
Yeah.
When he's hungry, he's coming after you. Now you have a choice: either be dinner or run or fight back. But you can't leave your limb out and then he takes a little snag of it. Then you screaming, he ate my foot.
He ate my limb. Lion is going over there picking his teeth, saying, "Look at this fool. I'm trying to eat, man.
And then you
trying to get something." You know what? Okay, you know, maybe if you're not an educator, a psychologist, or a spiritual leader, maybe comedy should be the next thing that you need to get yourself into. Because it's really hilarious. But I just want to say something, and I know you'll agree with me on this thing. We're sick. Black folks all over the world are sick people. Majority of us are. I'm not mentally sick, and I'm not deprived of knowledge or spiritual relevance. Black communities are sick all over the world, and that's why we cannot compete with the rest of the world in the 21st century. We can't even compete. We couldn't compete in the 20th. We made a solid attempt through Pan-Africanism to compete with the rest of the world, but we allowed foreign theology to take over and dumb our senses and sense of priority. I'm just calling it out as it is. The Achilles heel. Now, I understand you can be what you want and all that. And I'm not saying you can't be. You have a right. Black, white, green. If you're black, you want to be a Shinto, that's on you. But collectively, as people of African ancestry, we must make African spirituality just as relevant in our daily lives, in our economics, in our community, as we make Christianity, Islam, Judaism. Because the Abrahamic religions are really the ones that have infested Africa and is keeping us mentally enslaved. This is the truth. The reason why you have problems in Africa is not because of bad leadership. That's a symptom of a larger problem. It is not because you don't have the infrastructure. That's a symptom of a larger problem. It's not because you don't have great education. That's a symptom of a larger problem. It's not because your medical institutions are just in shambles. to the point where doctors are leaving Nigeria, trying to go to Saudi Arabia just to practice their craft because the government in Nigeria is not supportive or even cares about their grievances. If you need medical attention and you don't get out of Nigeria, you're a dead man or woman. We are sick. The reason why we are experiencing all these symptoms is sort of like having a fever. If you have a fever, is your problem the fever or the reason why you're having that fever? And what would you, or which one of those would you rather go after to resolve? Because you could keep the fever down, but as long as you don't get rid of the cause of your fever, the fever is going to come back up. And you will keep putting it down. It will keep coming back up. And at some point, it's going to kill you. Our problem is the fact that we have turned our backs on our culture, our way of life, our history, self-hatred. That is the reason why we have the fever. That is the reason why we have bad roads.
That's right.
No infrastructure, terrible leadership, no educational system that is worth a dime. Name anything that you feel is ailing Africa, because we have turned our backs on our way of life. Things that are culturally relevant to us, we refuse to evolve it. We are dancing to somebody else's tune. We've been programmed to be stupid. I know we don't want to hear that. I know it hurts our feelings when we tell the truth, but that is the truth. You're lost. You're wandering around in a desert waiting for rain when you could be in the jungle, experiencing all the rain in the world that you want to, but you're spinning around in the Sahara Desert waiting and hoping that it's going to rain. This is the life of the African globally. I'm sorry. But it's
true. You know, I want to share with you, this is our guest is having difficulty, Charger. This is what he's seeing. This is what he's seeing.
Wow. Well,
this is what he's seeing. He's watching us. But I've sent a link over and over.
Yeah.
And somehow
he has to resolve that himself. We can't really help him out on it. I mean, it's straightforward. We sent the link. He has to do certain, go through certain instructions contained in that link. And that's pretty much all we can do. We can't really do anything.
Yeah, I just wanted everyone to know that Chiedozie, can you hear us? I don't understand because the link is straightforward.
Yeah,
I don't know why that's the case. I don't know. Maybe it's because in Nigeria, or something going on. But one of the things questions I had for him, and I was really hoping he would answer that question, is how does a people's spirituality shape their identity? Okay. And I'm not sure how he's going to answer it. Okay. But how it shapes your identity, quite frankly, is it tells everyone you understand who you are.
Yep. Tell your own story.
Nutshell. If I ask a Buddhist, what is your spiritual, how does your Buddhism shape your spiritual identity? It's straightforward.
Yep.
Because Buddhism is an aspect of who he is as a human being first, because it's drawn from his culture. A lot of it is his own cultural expressions. Yep. That's what so that's his identity right there. But also on the other hand, if you ask us, how does the religion that we practice in Africa now, how does that shape our identity? It's difficult. It doesn't shape identity because, number one, it was not designed necessarily for us to retain who we are. It was designed to disrupt who we are and then take up a whole new identity, which is not working for us because what's going on with all that religious strife, So you got the Muslims, then you got the Christians, you got all of that. Okay? And the sad part of it is your spirituality is so simple. Connect. What did I say earlier? Get up in the morning, give thanks. That's not a mystery. Give thanks. After you give thanks, honor your ancestors. It's not that difficult. Honor your ancestors and then chart the course for your day, asking for support. Stay in front of me, behind me, above me, beneath me, and walk with me. Monachimso. There's nothing that technical about that. But then we choose instead to create an identity or accept an identity so foreign to us that if you really pay close attention, it doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't tell your story. Doesn't tell your history.
It doesn't tell your story.
Abraham and David and
you know. And then we go every Sunday we go and listen to the. Here's what's powerful about spirituality. What's powerful about spirituality is a constant reminder that you have the capacity to solve your own problems. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have the capacity to solve your own problems. UD, go talk about that.
Yeah. I think the question you were talking about is how does African spirituality shape your identity? It does shape your identity because all human systems are products of religion. From your civic laws, your educational system, your social systems, your religious systems, your political systems, your judicial systems. They're all products of religion because religion was the first attempt to control human behavior. For example, in religious parlance, the idea that you can't kill anybody, right, is a spiritual tenet that ultimately was adopted by civic law, written. Before the laws were not written, they were pretty much just, from one generation to the other. And then the first attempt to convince us about literally laws was when Moses was given the 10 Commandments by God when he went up to the mountains, which is, just another folk tale, but it is what it is. But that was a spiritual attempt that was given to us when the Europeans came to Africa to tell us about, Christ, and the Arabs came to tell us about Muhammad with the Quran and all that kind of stuff. Spirituality, religion, whatever you want to call it, shapes your identity because it is part, or should I say, all human systems come from religion. Your history, your environment, how your environment influences your spiritual beliefs and your religious approach and philosophies that are developed based on your environment. That's why you go to different parts of the world, you see the different spiritual beliefs in terms of processes based on environmental influences. If my environment was strictly desert, and it is from that desert that I'm able to sustain myself or eke out a living. Compare it to if my environment was simply the North Pole with ice and all that. My spiritual belief is going to be different, even though we both believe that there's a supreme being. But the processes that we develop through religion, the systems that we come up with through religion is influenced by our environment. So your spirituality or religion absolutely molds who you are because of environmental influence. And because of that, you're able to develop ways of surviving both physically and morally. Because moral survivability is directly related to spirituality. Then, of course, the environment comes in. Because if you're not able to take care of your environment, then you cannot sustain yourself physically. I mean, if we go out here just destroying the environment like we're doing right now, plastics everywhere in the ocean and all that, how long do you think it's going to be before the earth just goes kaput and it's over for everybody? So spiritually speaking, your environment has a lot to do with it because it is the environment that sustains you physically. And because your environment sustains you physically, it has almost everything to do with your spiritual reverence and how you relate to the Almighty God. Spirituality sustains you not in a vacuum. There's a direct relationship between spirituality and the environment, because this is what keeps you alive: the air you breathe, the animals you eat, the water you drink, the plants that you eat. Everything that sustains you is environmental, and it's directly related to spirituality. It molds you as a person because of environmental influences. It protects your history so that the next generation knows how to protect that environment, so that the generations continue to move ahead and flourish, and also controls your behavior. That's where your civic laws come in, so that you are not a threat to your neighbor. So you don't go around here converting everything for yourself and not allowing other people the same opportunity as yourself to flourish. For one thing, if you do that, then the other people die off anyway. You can't be, you can't have just a king and then you don't have any subjects that you're going to rule over. Too many kings and no subjects. Problem of the world. Problem with Igbo people in Nigeria. Excuse me for saying that, but if you understand what I'm saying. So spirituality is directly related to your identity as a people because of environmental influences, and allows you to maintain your community, to sustain it, and to plot a path for a better future for the next generation. Because if you don't fix it up for the next generation and protect what you have today, then the next generation is not going to be able to sustain itself, and you will sooner or later die off as a people.
And remember, Chineke answers calls that make sense. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you're an employer and you have this particular employee who just doesn't seem to understand the policies and procedures of the organization, you do two things. You explain it to him or her, and if they keep coming to you over and over, you tune them out. And what do? Ultimately, you fire them.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. Chineke has given you the policies and procedures for living.
For living, everything is
every day you come
complicated.
I don't understand. What did you say this is about?
I mean, you just come.
Let me finish that. So they said, Chineke says, okay, I'm going to explain it to you one more time. First of all, be grateful that you have breath. That's number one, because I didn't have to give you that blessing.
Yeah.
Secondly, give thanks for the air, give thanks for the trees, give thanks, in other words, to Mother Nature. Yeah. Because everything that keeps you alive is in nature. I've given you that. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Now, what the heck are you doing here again?
Begging me for the same thing that he gave you.
Chineke says, okay, you see your ancestors, the ones that came before you, that gave you, that they're the reason why you're here. Okay, honor them, respect them, respect your elders, take care of your children. Don't steal anything that doesn't belong to you. Fix things the way you see them or you met them. Don't destroy things. Take a bath. Don't smell. Eat the right foods. And that's the policies or procedures for living.
Yep.
But then what do we say? Nah, Chineke, I got bobo here. That's in our overseas. Also, no, Chineke, the way you're saying it, all the creature. Look what he happened.
From what the master came with.
Whatever it is. The master has, or whatever, however you want to say, has come from abroad and said, it's not how it's supposed to be done. And Chineke will repeat it. Let me tell it to you again, one more time. But you keep coming back time and time again to say the way that you learned it from your ancestors is wrong. But it is the new information that came from somewhere else that's much more palatable. Then you wonder why you're not doing well in life. You're not following protocol, and ultimately you're tuned out. So nobody's listening. It's the same thing. Okay, so it kind of sounds like, it's not as simple as I put it, but it's close. So the bottom line about spirituality, if we may be clear and honest with ourselves, it is not as complicated as we're making it. We are the ones complicating our lives because of what we latch onto, hold onto. Remember when I started, I said that we had a funeral yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yesterday was buried in a coffin. We put soil over it. That yesterday is your belief in things that don't reflect who you are. Mm-hmm. Bury that. Start anew. Renegotiate with the Creator. Let the Creator know, I understand. What do you want me to do? So what you need to do is get up in the morning, first and foremost. Give thanks. Mm-hmm. Give thanks for everything from head to toe. Then after you've done all of that, remember, I'm just repeating this for those who don't remember, who are not paying attention. Mm. You get up, then pour libations. Then eat the right food. Check in on your friends or family or whomsoever that you care about. Make sure everybody's well. Then you go out and you ask for spiritual guidance in everything you do, right? But all this, fear that you're going to burn in hell if you disagree.
I mean, it's crazy. Lack of courage.
That is, again, as I indicated, there's nothing wrong with you believing what you want to believe. There's a difference between theology, someone else's prescription about life, or reality.
Yep.
You got to face that. Sooner or later, you have to face that. Well, Otraja, our guest had such difficulty. We're going to try and get him in for next Sunday.
Next Sunday, yeah.
So we can't, but it's the 1 hour is up. Mm-hmm. And we're going to continue this conversation next week. I would like to thank Nosferatu, Ukunna Charles, and let's see, several people, Saifu Omoya Yele, not quite sure, and some of the other people who joined us via Global Faith Ministries and Cheesem Live. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that we can converge again next Sunday. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yudi. You have Agazie.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.